Bien adieu.
Today's talk in motion with Circus in motion. The notion of circus probably is not very familiar in Singapore. So how do we start it? We actually have to take our roots back to Cirque du Soleil. Now, a lot of you may not know that actually Cirque du Soleil, they started off as street performers, all right? And then they grew big, they grew really big, and they want to help the youth at risk, the street kids. So they have a social arm called Cirque du Monde. All right, Cirque du Monde basically means social circus of the world. So they go around different parts of the world to work with street kids in the ghettos and Latin America, different parts of the world. So in 1999, Cirque du Monde actually came to Singapore, came to the shores of Singapore. When you want to work with youth at risk, street kids in Singapore, you need a local organization. So essentially, the local partners are Tampines Family Service Center and Beyond Social Service. I was a social work intern at one of them, and then Cirque du Monde actually sent me for training, and the rest is history. So essentially, Cirque du Monde comes to Singapore 6 weeks of the year. So what happens to the rest of the 46 weeks? We wanted to do circus as well, with or without Cirque du Monde. So we actually were set up to plug the service gap of Cirque du Monde. Basically, Objective one was initially why we were set up, really to inculcate positive life skills through the use of circus arts. Number two, because we have to make ourselves sustainable, so we started providing corporate circus performance as a form of revenue. Now, I actually had a eureka moment. Maybe later you can ask me, because I think maybe I may not have enough time to share. So next one, typical bookshops in schools, all right? It's a 26-hour workshop. We offer a lot of manipulation skills, things like juggling, plate spinning, stuff like that, equilibristic skills, all right? Pictures, all right? Still walking, plate spinning, walking on the globe. So you're gonna ask how. These are special needs kids that we work with. You're gonna ask, these are not gym ball, this is solid 26 kilo fiberglass ball. The most difficult thing that we teach is juggling. You may not believe me, it's juggling. So in order to learn juggling, all right, it will take you about 2 weeks to learn the basic juggling. And if this youth at risk, I was about to point to him, you're not youth at risk. If this youth at risk wants to learn something like very difficult, I see the trainer doing a very, very difficult trick. He or she probably have to spend the next 2 weeks dropping the ball 300 times to pick up that trick. So that's really perseverance for him. And we're moving into evidence-based learning, all right? You're gonna ask, hey, how effective is your program? Essentially, we decide that, we need to convince the people to do this. And we zoom into the Rosenberg scale. It's a very, very established scale used to measure self-esteem. So we took a sample of 140 students who went through the 26-hour program, and then we actually measured the self-esteem before and after the program. And we realized that actually a good 70% of them, close to 70% of them, actually reported increase in self-esteem. And we are talking about the lowest 15% of the academic strata, basically the normal technical kids. Okay, so that is something that we're really proud of. We managed to raise the self-esteem. Challenges faced. Okay, very good. Nobody from Sports Council, nobody from the Arts Council. I'm going to bitch about this. No, essentially, well, circus can be an art or a sport, but in Singapore, it's neither. We've emailed to the ministers. It doesn't work, so we're still in the grey area. We receive no funding, nothing, doesn't matter. So we have to find a way to be sustainable. All right, so essentially, revenue stream from 2012 onwards, we have actually expanded a lot, and workshops. Okay, I would like to put this as a use of my circus arts. We made changes to our program in school. Essentially, we combine circus with a done-and-done learning styles model to roll into school. So every single participant who come into my program receive a 6-page report. Basically, we're using circus to reinforce memory techniques using mind mapping, as well as, those who are familiar, LOCI, L-O-C-I, to teach memory techniques using circus arts. We went into using Circus to do family bonding as well. It was a program, approved by the ministry for about 4 years. They stopped because they want to streamline the thing. So essentially, it's providing a platform for kids and children to engage in fun, meaningful activities. This is me, but this is not my daughter. So essentially, this is what a typical parent-child workshop will look like. You see, so it gives them close proximity for them to actually engage in healthy activities. Workplace mental health. This is very interesting. This is something that we just went into last year, which is really picking up. We use Circus Arts. We partner ProAge, which is another social enterprise, to use Circus to talk about issues like resiliency and self-esteem in workplace. You will be surprised that people in the workplace sometimes suffers from low self-esteem, and we're talking about white-collar workers. Corporate team building. All right. So our corporate team building is very different. All right. In that it has a CIP component. All right. How? Corporate comes in, I want to do team building. I say, okay, no problem. Do you want to fund for another 30 packs of people from the VWO? And they say, okay. Then they do the workshop together. So essentially, this is a guy from this staff from Shangri-La Resorts. Shangri-La Group actually got us in to do their team building. And the person in blue, he is actually an intellectually challenged resident from Bishan Home. So that is our model. Yes, and we have, this is the corporate X segment. We have dived into doing customized show. Give me your logo, I can make your logo appear in our show. Increase in the magnitude of our show. This is really big. Some of the bigger acts that we do. The guy with the cube is me. Yes, and we are the first Singapore circus group to present a Singapore-flavored circus act in Korea. So we toured Korea for about 9 days. The name of the show is called Tikam Tikam, very, very Singapore. And it's directed by this renowned theatre director, Mr. Jeremiah Choi. Numbers at a glance. More than, this is correct as of May 2015, so it's more. I have to stop now, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Bien, adieu.